Welcome to the Tom Matt Show. You are walking through the front door of the retirement zone. And now, your host, Tom Matt.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Tom Matt Show, everybody. Last week, my man Leon Stokes was back. I guess he's not back. He's back in my life because I've known him since junior high. Guy's a phenomenal guy. Wrote a great book about his dad. You're going to have to check that one out. Everybody in the mid-Michigan area, that especially Lansing Everett former students, graduates, will remember Leon. He played on Irvin Johnson's state championship team, and he's just a great guy who did some wonderful things, and his book is phenomenal. Today, I got the man back, Ashton Henderson, 4-year letter winner for the Spartan football team, 2006-2009. I worked all those games with him. All of them. Used to see him on the sideline all the time. He returned to Michigan State University as Executive Associate Athletic Director for Championship Resources. That is a mouthful. MSU Vice President Director of Athletics Alan Haller announced on February 18, 2022. He began his appointment February 28th of 22. So he's been at this game for a little while. And with all the changes that are happening in the world of college athletics, I'm telling you, this guy is the guy we want to have in here regularly. That's why he's back. He's been on the show before, and I really, really appreciate his time. Before his work in the NBA, Ashton developed a long track record as a student athlete development, collegiate level. That's why he's back at Michigan State University after spending some time with the Detroit Pistons. Michigan State Athletics is very, very lucky to have a young person with his aptitude, integrity, and just heart. And when we see each other, he's the most gregarious guy you'll ever want to see. I mean, he is just the nicest cat ever. And so if you get a chance to ever see this guy, go up and say hello and tell him you heard him on the Tom Matt Show. I want to welcome back to the radio program my friend, calling this one Moving Forward, Athletics at MSU, Ashton Henderson. Welcome back, bro.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tom. Always a pleasure to be in your presence, brother, always.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that very, very much. You know, we've got some very good points that you sent over, but before we get there, you might remember that, you know, that your last appearance was in 2022, that we do This Is Your Life for this first segment. We roll through this thing about, you know, your family and what's going on with you personally. So please take as much time as you need the rest of this first segment and talk about you and all the good things you've been doing, your training. I see you on LinkedIn all over the place, man. You've been doing a lot. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, Tom, thanks for having me. I think the most important thing I need to mention is I'm getting remarried in 2024.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm marrying the love of my life, Chloe Barnes. She was a former basketball student athlete at Ball State. So to say our home is competitive is to say it's not. I would be lying to you. We compete at everything. She normally wins all those things. She's a sharpshooter, even when we try to play some basketball, paper basketball in the trash can, she still gets me every time. So I actually beat her at Mario Party last night, so this might be my year. But love her. Grateful that we are taking this journey together here in June. And I'm excited about what the Lord has for us in our future. In terms of on that front, had to start there, but grateful. This will be my 4th year being a part of the NCAA Emerging Leaders platform. You know, NCAA Emerging Leaders, it's an opportunity where the NCAA has invested in young people for many, many years who really have a passion to really grow and learn in sport. And so 200 professionals from all walks of life are going to stampede the national office. Since 2021, this program has been virtual. So grateful to now Governor Baker, President of the NCAA, Charlie Baker, for his monetary gifts that are allowing this program, which is quintessential to the upbringing of the next generation of leaders, to come back in person in Indianapolis in February. So this will be my 4th year being the program MC. This year's theme is the rookie season, and really allowing and leaning into that mantra of helping navigate your first year in a professional setting. And so it's going to be an unbelievable affair. That gregarious nature will be brought and imposed on all of those 200 young people. And we're going to have a great time while we're there.
How is the reception for the student athletes that you bring in, the young ones especially, now that things have changed so radically? What is the attitude that you've seen, Ashton? Ashton Henderson's our guest today, everybody. Moving forward, athletics at MSU. When you bring in these 200 athletes, these young ones, is there a big difference between those athletes and your generation? You're not that old, although you are senior to these, and you're a great leader, example for and mentor for these young people. But what is the prevailing attitude with our young people out there, just so people can kind of get a temperature check on this, because everything's changed so much?
Yeah, I think, Tom, we're still evaluating that. We're in year 2 of, getting ready to close out, going to year 3 of NIL and what this looks like and the new changing landscape and evolution of it all. So I would say it's still the camaraderie, it's still the teams that, have effective locker rooms and the ability to have programs and the infrastructure that's really going to set you apart from the rest. I think that still exists. Michigan State University, obviously, in what we do and have that familial aspect, not just when you get here, but for life, is something that's embedded in all of us and something we will continue to stay true to our values regardless of this changing landscape. I think most so than anything, consistency is key, and student athletes are really seeing that and who really truly does value and care about them. And I'm hopeful, all the other minutiae and things that we're experiencing will take care of itself as it relates to, level setting and getting back to it, an opportunity. But I'd be lying to you to say this industry is not changing. And I think it's, the evolution of it is something I'm excited about. And we embrace here, not only at Michigan State, but also what that looks like for the future. And that's why the areas that I oversee in the student athlete experience that enhance that are truly important and vitally part of our enterprise and then reshape the form that we move forward.
Do you pinch yourself occasionally about being in this role, being back at your alma mater and all of the things that you're accomplishing? Do you pinch yourself, and how much gratitude, 2 questions, how much gratitude do you carry in your heart towards the university for what it provided to you for the steps on the ladder for you? So do you pinch yourself occasionally?
Every day, Tom. I say this to myself, 8390-37571. That was my student ID at Michigan State. It's something that I always hold near and dear, because without that number, there's no me. And those are the things that are my identity, DNA, and the folks who continuously and have poured into me. So I do pinch myself quite often, and I'm grateful to be here, pouring back into so many of the student athletes who have that same vision, dream, and desire as I did to achieve the goals in which they set out to do. And at this place, you can achieve anything.
That's such a fact. And one word that just jumped out to me when you were just speaking was the familial aspect of MSU. Sandy and I ran into Darquez Denard.
My guy.
During one of your guys, man, and we ran into him, and he was, the long story of it was he sat at our table when we were at the banquet when he was a freshman, and, he's always been a favorite of ours, and watched him mature into the young man that he is now. And we just had such a good visit. I got about 30 seconds before we go. Talk about Darquez for just a second, because that meeting we had before the football game you guys were doing over there behind IM West was pretty sweet.
Darquez is an amazing young person. One of my dear friends, someone who I love dearly. Knew he was going to be special the first time I met him. Still keep in contact with him regularly. And he is on record the best to ever wear 3-1 at Michigan State University, in my opinion. Even though I wore 3-1 too, easily.
Yeah, he's a star, and he's so humble and such a good guy. I'm going to carry this through and reset everything for everybody. Moving forward, athletics at MSU. For all of you in the Midwest, Big Ten people, get ready, sit down. You're going to want to check this one out, at least if you missed some of the broadcast. For sure, you want to get the whole podcast, because Ashton Henderson's my guest today. Ashton has been with us before. I've known Ashton for a long, long time, and he's been on the show before. He's very talented, multifaceted, and he wants to help young people. And that's what we want to do here with our radio program and supporting MSU, because you know what? MSU as a whole, we've had our bumps, we've had our darkness. We're through all of that. We are moving forward because we are Spartans, and having a guy like Ashton Henderson here on this radio program proves that to me. Again, Ashton Henderson is with us. Moving forward, athletics at MSU. You're listening to The Tom Matt Show.
This segment of The Tom Matt Show is brought to you in part by the Source of Light and Power by band leader Archibald and broadcaster Mitch Anderson. Hear the sound that is endorsed by Odyssey headphones, linear tube audio, RME converters, and Peluso microphones at sourceoflightandpower.bandcamp.com. This is The Tom Matt Show.
Second segment of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by Craig Stiles, Ameriprise Financial, big donors to the university. His daughter went to school at MSU. Your Ameriprise financial advisor and our Ameriprise financial advisor is Craig Stiles. And again, full disclosure, as I say every show, we have all of our retirement zone savings money with Craig, all of it. He manages the whole thing for us so that we can do what we do. And that's why he wants to help you do what you can do. And let me tell you, for the year or so that we've had all of our funds with him, we're happy. We're real happy with where things are going with that. So that's the thing about it, everybody. Craig's one of the most honest guys you'll ever meet. 11 children, all homeschooled. He is the bomb. He can help you plan for the life you want today and well into the future like he's doing for Sandy and I. Please check him out. That is Craig Stiles. His numbers are 1-800-528-1355. His local number, 517-483-4893. Email craig.stiles@ampf.com. Offices are located at 2400 Lake Lansing Road, Suite B is in Brilliant or B-ism, Lansing, Michigan, 48912. Want to thank Craig for creating what he is. This is what puts him over the top, is his proprietary algorithm called Decideri Analytics. He created that algorithm 15, 20 years ago, before the word algorithm became something synonymous with like normal speak. Nobody knew what an algorithm was back then. Craig was designing this thing. It's a tool that he has continued to refine to help us make good decisions where we are making light of weighted decisions. Want to thank Steve and Ivy Gruber, the owners of the Michigan Talk Network, for carrying our content for the last 5 or 6 years at least. I don't even know how long. It's been a long time that we've been on the Michigan Talk Network, with WGIM being the flagship station. And again, we have 4 books on Amazon, that thing called Amazon. Please check those out. Here are some of the stations in and out of the network that have been with us. WGHN 92.1 was the first station in Michigan to carry us on broadcast radio, owned by Will Tiemann and Wendy Hart. WGIM 1240 AM in Lansing, WGRW 1340 in Grand Rapids, WKLQ 1490 Muskegon Whitehall, WYPV FM 94.5 in Mackinac City, and of course, last but not least, of course, our PBS affiliate at Michigan State University, WKAR AM 870 News Talk and 102.3 FM, carrying us on Sundays at 5 p.m. Love it. I want to say thank you to Brad for everything he does over there at the station. He is just the consummate station manager, program director, whatever his title is. He's the best. Awesome. Ashton Henderson's our guest today, everybody. Moving forward, athletics at MSU. Ashton and I have known each other forever, and it's wonderful to know these young people and watch them flourish and become professionals, get their education. Ashton, talk about your education just a little bit before we get into our bullets. What you accomplished in your academic career and helping other student athletes understand that once you were done playing football at Michigan State University, I mean, you were a letter winner from 2006 to 2009, so you played some ball. Talk about your academic for you personally. What have you accomplished, and just share with everybody how much that has impacted your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so grateful that I was able to, after I finished my undergraduate degree at Michigan State, Jim Pignataro, God rest his soul, is a forever mentor and someone I continuously want to make proud. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself and asked me to be his graduate assistant, and it was probably one of the most transformational times in my life, where grad school helped shape and really get me going to the professional opportunities that I've had unlocked thus far. So in that time, I was able to graduate with honors. I ended up becoming the outstanding graduate student, Rossing outstanding graduate student. And from there, life is a journey. You got to keep learning. You got to keep growing. You got to keep getting better. So later on in life at Florida State, I got my master's degree in public relations from Michigan State as well. Then at Florida State University, I received an MBA degree and went on that opportunity too. So those are things that I am so thrilled by. And the College of Common Arts and Science have helped me as a person. And this year, I'm so honored, and I can share this because it's public news, from my college, not necessarily from my athletic accolades, but I will be named, Outstanding Alumni of the Year, one of those representatives from the College of Common Arts and Science, which you get to go on the wall of Hall of Fame, and I get to bring my children here one day and take them through those halls and say, your dad is on this wall, not for what he did not what he did athletically, but how he valued the whole entire experience. So both shapes in history, which I'm truly grateful, and that would never have happened without the village that support me and that degree that catapulted me forward.
Congratulations on that. That's a huge award. I have been to that award ceremony several times as a graduate with 2 degrees from that college as well. I know that, it's very, and Ashton's not kidding everybody. There's a whole wall of just the most outstanding people you could ever imagine. So you are in some very, very elite company when you get put on that wall. So congratulations on that. I'm very, very happy for you, and I'm grateful to know you as a friend. Let's get going with your topics here. Set this thing up for the rest of the show. Ashton Henderson is our guest today. Moving forward, athletics at MSU. The 4 topics you sent over, very interesting. I love it. Brunch on the banks. Start that. We've got about 3.5 minutes to go before we got to go to break. Let's just start that thread, and we'll come back if we don't finish it. What is that? How can we help you promote that? What is it? What are you trying to accomplish?
Absolutely. I'm so grateful. One of the things that I value a lot about Alan's leadership is he thinks about things inclusively. And what I mean by that is he wants to ensure that all student athletes have the same, if not unbelievable, transformational experience. So in order to do that, you have to make sure we provide resources to our Olympic sports student athletes as well. So Brunch on the Banks is something our Spartans Fuel staff has started. Brunch on the Banks is every Monday and Thursday. We provide breakfast from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. to over 400 student athletes over in Jenison. So I would say that's about 75% of our entire student athlete population that competes and wins a lot of championships, for that matter, are fueled out of Jenison. And that is essential for this process, because of what you're fueling and how you're going about the day truly sets the parameter and stratosphere where you go. So that benchmark and barometer has been set. I'm grateful that we've been able to find funding and accrue and continue funding through our Champions Edge program, which allows donors to give directly to things that help enhance and strengthen the student athlete experience holistically. So for that matter, that is what Brunch on the Banks is. We want to take that from 2 days to a full week, or at least 4 days. That's our future plans rolling out in the fall. But in order for us to do that, it takes resources. I'm grateful for our partners at IHOP who provide that breakfast for us and do a great job of diversifying those needs and menu options so that we prevent food fatigue, as well as an opportunity to continue to help our student athletes. So I am thrilled about this. It's probably, if not the best thing we've done as a department, in my opinion, and that we will continue to give back to our Olympic sports student athletes.
Excellent timing. And I'm going to take this thing through break because I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you about that program when we come back from break. Resetting this thing, everybody. Ashton Henderson, my buddy from way back in the day, from 2006, when he was a student out there thumping people on the football field at Spartan Stadium. I mean, I worked every one of his games, and it was just amazing to watch. So it's amazing to see a young person do what he has done and continue to progress and get educated and help others. That's why we're talking to him. This is the Tom Matt Show.
Thank you again to our Segment 2 sponsor, Craig Stiles of Ameriprise Financial. For more information on services provided by Craig, please visit ameripriseadvisors.com/craig.stiles or by calling 517-483-4893. You're tuned in to the Tom Matt Show.
Third segment of the Tom Matt Show is gratefully sponsored by James White Law. White Law PLLC, sponsoring the Mad Dog Minute, sponsoring the third segment of the Tom Matt Show, where justice meets compassion. If you did not see Jamie's first episode on the radio program or hear it, either way, it's on the website. It's on our YouTube channel. You need to see the story because it has a very interesting. I've had people come up to me and talk about why Jamie got into the law industry, the business of law, because of an incident with his parents where there was a racially motivated attack on his father because he's a biracial young man. And this happened in the 70s when the days were darker and not so great. And so that whole story is just so, I mean, we never know what people are going to talk about on this radio program when it comes to their personal stories. That was impactful. And that's why he jumped into this. Whitelaw is your advocate in times of need because Jamie's been there. He will listen. His team will listen. They will support, and they will fight for what you deserve. Guarantee it. Here's how you can get a hold of Whitelaw. WhitelawPLLC.com. WhitelawPLLC.com. You can call 517-777-9785. Of course, you can always go to our website, TomMattShow.com. At the bottom of the homepage, that's where our sponsors, banners are, and some of our friends that we help support and promote. Please go there because it helps us. We need our sponsors to have recognition. He's a two-degree holder from Michigan State University, a huge donor to Michigan State University, and that's why we love him so much. I mean, it's greatness. 517-777-9785. Jamie White, WhitelawPLLC.com. All right, back to our show today with Ashton Henderson. Just a supremely great guy. I mean, just a great guy. Every time we see each other, it's like old home day, get the big hug. It's bro love for sure. And I love it. It's just so great to see, again, as I've said several times now, see our student athletes prosper and flourish and grow and become professionals. The question I had for you, leading back to your first point on your bullets, Ashton, the brunch on the banks, which is a great idea. You have 400 students coming in there, and we have 700 varsity athletes, about everybody at MSU. In case you didn't know that, okay, that's a lot of students. That's a lot of students. So you see, you have 400 students coming to your brunches. What's the social interaction like between the athletes and the different sports? Because the big guys get a lot of love, they get a lot of attention, but then you have your Olympic sports, and then you have some of the female athletes. They don't get as much love. Do they get to network? How does that work, and how does that help them?
Yeah, I think it's been amazing to see all the student athletes come together from various sports and teams, particularly how it comes and how it ebbs and flows throughout the day to really connect. There's nothing like a meal to really just share and talk about what's going on and current trends, things that are happening. There's always nice sports TV shows, and obviously the top 10 Sports Center always gets folks going. But it's just been awesome for me and for our staff to see our students integrate and have this platform to utilize and bring people together, which meals always do.
That's the thing about being a Spartan, everybody. And if you're a parent out there or you're a student that's thinking about coming to MSU as an athlete or just academically, we want you both. Because let me tell you something, the athletes, the family at Michigan State University, they changed my life. Where I'm not doing radio if we're not, 13 years of radio now, doing all these videos, doing all these things, still training at the university, still hanging out with students, still giving mentorship to all these students. Love our students so much. So if you're thinking about it, you need to make a visit and come see us and check out our Spartan Sagas on our website, because there are several students, quite a few students that I've interviewed, who talk about their journey, and they're all different. They're all really unique in how they arrived at MSU. For example, check out Anna Thomas, a young woman from Houston who is a sophomore now, who we're very close, and I talk to her pretty regularly via text or on the phone. And kids, just incredible. Just incredible people. And why she came to MSU, you need to go check that one out. Find that podcast. Go to our website. Ashton, your second point of your bullets, athletic performance modalities. What did you want to share with that? What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, Tom. I don't even know I sent it to you. I'm grateful to be around some very smart people. In fact, several of my direct reports essentially are currently in lockstep with, or doctors, or hold some type of level of secondary education in some way. So I am around some very incredible people who are passionate about what they do. So with that, those modalities, when you think about collegiate athletics, you really have to stay on the cutting edge and provide new opportunities for different training modalities. So, for example, one of the things in which we had a very generous donor pay for what we call elite form. So when we were student athletes, we would just compete in the weight room against each other on old school cards and how many lift cards, and check our reps and how many we were able to do. And that's how we competed. Fast forward to 2024, there is now a machine that allows you to be videotaped for reps and see your form, as well as if you hit a PR, it lights green and all in the room around you will showcase that you've just hit a PR, which is incredible. And it tracks all kind of elements to your overall training purposes. So these are the types of machines and opportunities in AI and machine learning we need to continue to invest in so our student athletes have the best experience possible.
You have a couple of former athletes that were on the strength team with Ken Manny, Lonzo Guest, Billy Burkhart. Both of those guys achieved their PhDs, and now they are on the cutting edge of your training again with the modalities. Can you talk about those couple of guys for a second? Because you know those guys real well.
Absolutely. I'm so fortunate. Every day I have the best staff in the country. But Dr. Bill Burkhart is our director of sports science. He's doing a phenomenal job. Is out actually right now, was asked by our national organization to speak about some other pieces that are really essential to that process of training, wearable technology and growth, which he's a national leader in. Then you have, I think, one of the best athletes to come through Michigan State, Dr. Lorenzo Guest, who is our director of athletic performance. So each and every day working with those two Spartans through and through to really change the trajectory of how our students see themselves, both mind, body, soul, and spirit. We talk about two amazing young people who you want around young people. I couldn't think of two better advocates.
I'll tell you, I don't know how much you get a chance to see Bianca Guess, but I see her quite often over at IM West because I'm training over there all the time, and she was a great addition. Bianca was on the show as well. Another Spartan Sagas, you guys, if you want to go check that out. She is a director of group fitness at IM West for the university, across the university. And so there's so much love that goes into our students and our student athletes and our students in general to help them achieve what they need to achieve. We've got a $300 million facility being built for the Student Activity Center. That'll be done in a couple of years. It's going to enhance all of the aspects for being healthier. We've got about a minute to go before we go to break here. Ashton, please set up our next bullet, mental health support. Set it up. Take about 30 seconds to set that up, and then we'll come back and finish the thread, please.
Absolutely. Mental health support is definitely something that you're seeing nationally that we need to continue to invest and provide resources to, both on the performance side and clinically. So I'm grateful and look forward to talking through that a little bit more here after the break.
There's a lot to talk about, and what I want to absolutely bring up, and I just made a note of it, everybody, is COVID and how COVID affected our young people, and it's just incredible how our students, and so I don't think people realize how it impacted our young people and still does to this day. And I talk to students all the time about this. It's nice to see that the students are becoming more normalized post-COVID, but COVID really did a number on our kids. And I'm talking about my kids, our kids, all those kids at MSU. They're all our kids. We love them so much, and we need to help them. Well, mental health advocacy is one of my top topics on this radio program. Ashton Henderson's with us, everybody. Moving forward, athletics at MSU. You're listening to The Tom Matt Show.
Thank you again to our Segment 3 sponsor, White Law PLLC, where justice meets compassion. White Law is your advocate in times of need. We are here to listen, support, and fight for what you deserve. Contact White Law today for your free consultation. Visit us at whitelawpllc.com or call 517-777-9785. This is The Tom Matt Show.
Fourth segment of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by Brock Fletcher. You can Google his name and find out what a rock star he is. Another great Spartan. Donates a ton of time, a ton of money, and trains a bunch of the football players and student athletes across the board. If you need anybody to get trained in the real estate industry, Brock Fletcher's your guy. Keller Williams, Realty, full disclosure, we sold Big House Holt. We bought Little House Lansing, where we're doing this recording session right now with Ashton Henderson, through Mike Dedman, the selling team of Keller Williams, because those guys are the team that we trust, and you need to go there. Listen to our Reality of Real Estate episodes because they're all there. There's 15, 20 of them, something like that, whole bunch. They'll answer a lot of your questions. You can get a hold of Brock this way, everybody, 517 853-6408 or 517-303-3262. That's the number you really want to pencil on the dash. And let me give it to you again. 517-303-3262. That is Brock's cell phone number. He returns calls every day. You will get a new message from him every day. If you get his voicemail, which you probably will, he'll tell you when he's going to be returning calls, and he hits his timeline every time. And I say that because I was a telecom professional for a long, long time in my career at Michigan State University, and so I appreciate that kind of professionalism, and that's what he does when he trains up our young people. All of it. I mean, all of it's so great. kwsellingteam.com. Sell your home without hassles. Brock spends thousands of dollars on marketing prior to getting your listing because he wants to give you the best value, the best bang for your buck. He is not the kind of agent who spends a couple $100 advertising when they get the listing. No. He is a long-term investor, and you can tell by the amount of time he's been with us, and we have such a great relationship, and he loves MSU so much. All right, we're talking about Billy Burkhart and Lorenzo Guess here. Just a couple of wonderful cats. Those guys are good leaders who spent many years working on their PhD like you did, getting these multiple degrees. Ashton Henderson's our guest today, everybody. And so they can, all of you young people can really understand the mental health support and aspect of our student athletes and our students, and why we need to have like the new rec center that's coming in a couple of years, and why we need to have the mental health support. When COVID hit, it messed our kids up, Ashton. Are you still seeing aspects of that? Because we saw players that are getting COVID years to compete, so it's still got some lingering effects. What's your impression with that?
Yeah, I think that definitely put through a wrecking ball and everything that which we were trying to do socially, and allow the world to pause a little bit and reimagine how we do things and provide innovation through those practices. But you see some studies coming out here recently about long COVID and different variants and things that are still there and exist. So even though it's not as disruptive as it once was, it's still out there and it's still a known. It's become a part of our day-to-day walk of life. In terms of the common flu or different things of that nature. So I would say I'm grateful that we are trying to turn the page. And have done a great job of repopulating students to connections. And as I mentioned, that program with emerging leaders doing that, and other programs that we've been able to do as a department to get student athletes back together, doing community service, going on career development trips, as we're taking, about 20 to 25 juniors and seniors to Chicago this summer. All these things that we are able to do now that we are trying to reimagine and turn the page, which I think as a team, we've done a great job of reintegrating our students in that way.
So what are we offering to the students as far as, say we have an incoming, a high school junior or senior, doesn't matter if they're an athlete or if they're just a student. What kind of special offerings do we have for them? Because I know the answer to this question because I utilized employee resources myself through our family many times. I mean, being a mental health advocate is huge. So just illuminate everyone out there that doesn't know what type of programs that we have that can actually really help. And it's all included. It's all inclusive with being a Spartan.
Yeah, we don't have enough tape to talk about all the resources here that are at Michigan State and at the disposal of the student athletes. But anything that, from mental health with the practitioners and programmatic aspects that we have, not only on the clinician side, but on the performance side, to help those negative thoughts that come to mind as student athletes when you're in your own mind about what you can achieve and cannot achieve. Your greatest enemy is the belief in what you put in, those unconscious and subconscious thoughts that help catapult to where you want to go. So grateful to have that. Career development, we have the best staff in the country that helps you not only get here, but also along the way for grad school, externships and internships, the best academic support staff for years, so there's a myriad of opportunities and things and a plethora of things that you can get involved in that this institution has, not only athletically, but also at Michigan State with studying abroad. And I mean, like I told you, Tom, there's not enough tape in this reel to talk about all the amazing things that we have to offer an incoming student athlete and their family, and why Michigan State is a cut above the rest.
It's people need to understand how difficult it is, especially for our student athletes, the amount of time that has to be invested in their sport and in their academic career is unbelievable. The amount of time you have to put in your meetings, everything has to be so structured, so perfect. Talk about when you were a student athlete, how things have evolved. I mean, you have a brand new addition to the football building over there. Talk about that, please, because things have changed and things have improved, and it continues to improve. I see new things happening at the university constantly. I drive around campus every day I'm out there. Talk about that a little bit, please, would you?
Yeah, it's awesome to see, the evolution of who we are as an institution. Our values haven't changed. We just continue to be on the cutting edge of providing the best experience for our student athletes. So just seeing our football building and all the other improvements we made on campus with MUN and some other different spaces and, areas in which we've invested in to comprehensively enhance everyone's experience, whether that be, training areas, fueling stations. And we've all, been in lockstep, to execute Alan's vision. But it's been incredible to see it from where it was when I was a student athlete to where we're going. And we're just getting started. We're always thinking about ways and constantly contemplating how can we make things better. Once you build the crane, there always should be a crane in some way, shape, or form to continue to know that there's progress. When there's cranes out, there's progress. When you stop having cranes, there's some things where you get stagnant. So that's something I'm committed to. I know our administration is, as well as from the top down, continuing to evolve and provide resources so that their cranes will continue to be present on this campus.
Well, how nice is it that we have a new president that'll be really taking office in March that is from an athletic background? That's so important to have from the very top, the belief of how important, because in my career, I saw it from business. There were business people that ran the university, and that's fine. That's all good. They want to do all of the right things, but to have a former athletic trainer who is a PhD like Billy or like all the people that we have going in our directions. I mean, Lorenzo, Billy, please continue that. How important is that to you? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it's incredible, to have those folks around and other folks in your unit, Jim Wilkinson, who oversees our athletic training area, Rob Masterson, who oversees our, nutrition, who's also, a Spartan himself. We were here during the same college years during that time where some amazing things happened at Michigan State, as well as you have mentioned Dr. Molly quite a bit, and Angela Monty, who has been a catalyst for many, many student athletes here. Her service to Michigan State over 26 years of providing internships, externships, and letting student athletes evolve and see their resumes grow. Kate Souter, who's a Spartan through and through, just an amazing opportunity. Darian Harris, who is a former football student athlete here and has done tremendous work in various spaces on campus and won the Rising Star Award in Comm Arts and Science. So we have an army of Spartan support here, which is not rare. It's very rare to have that type of just ability to be around folks who really, truly care about this institution and our department.
That's why the Spartan family is so strong. Let me carry this through because we're coming up on break here. Ashton Henderson is my guest today, everybody. Moving forward, athletics at MSU. All of the people that Ashton just mentioned are all Spartans, and that's one of the things about the Spartan family. You talk to a Darquoise Denard. When I talked to Darquoise Denard this past fall at that football game, he said he knows when he comes to MSU that everybody that he talks to, he can trust. And that's what you need to understand, parents out there, student athletes out there, incoming academic scholars that are out there that are considering MSU. We want your business. We want you to consider MSU. Take a visit. Once you take a visit, you're going to be sold. That's all there is to it. Ashton Henderson's with us today, everybody. Moving forward, athletics at MSU. This is the Tom Matt Show.
Thank you again to our segment 4 sponsor, Brock Fletcher, real estate agent at the selling team with Keller Williams Realty. For more information on services provided by Brock, please call his personal cell phone at 517 303-3262 or by emailing Brock at kwsellingteam.com. This is the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Tom Matt Show. If you missed any portion of this episode, you know you can always go to the website, get the podcast, pull it down. WKR carries all of it. Some of the stations carry all 5 segments, but that's broadcast radio for you, and that's why we're lucky to have a podcast. If you missed any portion of it, www.tommattshow.com. Contact us there. All of our social media is there. Whatever flavor of social media you like to use and utilize between Facebook, X, former Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, we're on them all. We're on them all, and we're proud to be there. And LinkedIn. LinkedIn has become another force. You know, I never really promoted LinkedIn that much because it was always sort of a business thing. But you want to become, and I tell students this all the time, Ashton Henderson is my guest today. One of the very first questions I'll ever have with a student that I'm working with at the gym when we're talking about connecting you to businesses is, do you have a LinkedIn profile? And if you don't, go copy mine. Thomas F. Matt, M-A-T-T. Go copy my LinkedIn profile, and it takes time. LinkedIn is not Instagram. LinkedIn is not TikTok. It takes time to build a professional portfolio, and that's what we want to try to help with. Ashton, how would you like people to connect with you via email, via phones, promote whatever you'd like? Please go right ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's brand cohesion is essential. One of the great many things you learn as gyms in the comm arts and science graduate programs and undergraduate level. So _Henderson 31, being true and fair to my beloved number, Michigan State. That's how you can find me on every platform, on Instagram, X, all of these areas, as well as Tom alluded to, LinkedIn. Love to connect with there and, help in any way, shape, or form. Very accessible. Excited to connect with those who may be interested and learn more about those aspects of what we're doing.
What would you like to promote as far as new programs that are coming in the future? What would you like to share with the listening audience? Because we're broadcast all over the place. The podcast is very popular. Go right ahead. What would you like to promote?
Yeah, I'm excited about just some of the new initiatives that, are currently being baked right now. Baked in thought, baked in idea, baked in ideation, baked on collaboration. But just know to stay tuned to watch the things in which, Michigan State athletics is currently and always will be on the cutting edge and cusp of things. And we're always evaluating how we continue to make our experience better. And it's opportunities like this that Tom provides us to showcase and tell those stories. So I'm grateful, and just know there's more. As I've learned growing up, the best is yet to come. That's a mantra that I always say.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that very much. I want to ask you really quickly before we get into the Spartan DEIB lab, ask you about Alan and how he's doing with his job. How is Alan Haller doing?
Alan's doing great. I think, this is a very, any athletic director, he asks me all the time rhetorically, not for a response, but says, Ashton, you sure you want to do this? Sure. It's a very hard job. I'm grateful for his advocacy. I'm actually in the Lead One program, Diversity Fellow program, which there's 11 of us who will be aspiring athletic directors who they're shaping, molding, and helping us get through that. It's through his advocacy that I'm in that program, as well as the NCAA Pathway program. So I'm in two of the best leadership programs to shape ADs. Pathway is more comprehensive in terms of what you do, more work, more introspection, all the opportunities to see who you are as a leader. And getting both of that dose right now is really preparing me to take that next step myself, to be my own athlete, to be director of athletics at an institution. But learning and seeing and working through him has been awesome to see those elements of how I want to run my own department and the things that I will bring with me and the things in which, I've learned throughout this segment of being back.
But, you are the consummate lifelong learner. I mean, if anybody is listening to this radio program and you don't get the value of lifelong learning, you got to look at this young man and just say, I want to be just like, when I grow up, I want to be just like Ashton. I want to be just like Ashton. Let's talk about your project with the Spartan DEIB lab. I was very interested to see what that acronym meant and what's the impact that you see and foresee with this.
Yeah, I was very fortunate with the Pistons to have some creative runway and do some really innovative things in the world of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And when I was there, I created a 10-month program for C-suite level executives, as well as middle managers and new practitioners in the space to educate on different topics around and surrounding diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. That program was an NBA best practice. I was grateful to take that in any model practice. And if the program is very substantive, you can really take that and put it anywhere. So I was grateful for that and brought that program and pillars here to East Lansing, where we've rebranded and call it the Spartan DEIB Leadership Lab, which we've had amazing guest speakers come from across the country to impart knowledge and leverage our expertise here on campus around various things that are happening around us so we can be better, empower humanity together.
Unbelievable. So awesome. So what is the purpose of the DEIB lab? What do you want to accomplish with this whole program?
Yeah, the whole premise of it is just to ensure that folks have a greater understanding of different backgrounds and perspectives and beliefs and value systems and how we can all support each other. And every one of us has a slice of genius that you bring to the world and to the table and to who you serve each day. And if we understand each other better in those capacities and those platforms, we'll be better leaders, we'll be better workers, supporters of not only Michigan State, but ourselves and our student athletes, because we understand the wide variety of difference that they provide and bring to the table.
Excellent. Let's go back through the 4 topics that we had here, because we've got about 6 minutes to go and we could do a nice long recap on this. You talked about Brunch on the Banks. How would you like sponsors to, because it's a twice a week program, kind of give us a refresh on that, because maybe we have new listeners that just jumped on. And then how do we encourage donors? How would they go about giving to the university? Because that's what part of the whole emphasis of having you on the show is to drive. We want to drive donors to really think about these things. And we're not going to lean on you to give them money. We want you to be aware of the programs that need the help. And when you find the programs that are worthy, you can help. Go right ahead. Please talk about that. Give us a recap and then talk about how they can give you funding.
Absolutely. So anyway, we're grateful. Our Spartan Fund staff would love to steward and receive any gifts that would be directly toward this initiative, which falls under the auspices of the Champions Edge campaign. So the Champions Edge campaign, you'll find athletic training, anything that deals with nutrition, which we're Brunch on the Banks, that line item would go directly to that, as well as athletic performance, student athlete wellness, which is mental health, sports science, and other elements of those opportunities to give to help shape and impact the student athlete experience directly. So that's how you would just get in contact with the Spartan Fund, let them know you were interested in the Champions Edge program, and they would be able to direct the funding directly to one of those verticals to help the student athlete experience.
Ashton Henderson is our guest today, everybody. We're calling this one, moving forward, athletics at MSU. I'm dying to ask you, because you were an athlete, it seems like dark ages, 2006, 2009, seems, dating ourselves a little bit. How have things changed nutritionally? How have things changed physically for the student athletes in that short window of time? Can you kind of explain that a little bit in a nutshell?
Yeah, I would say, we didn't have fueling stations. We had grocery tours and things of that nature, but the evolution of the game is a science. It truly is about how you fuel and the time lapse and gaps that you have to really get and gain competitive advantage throughout that process is essential. That's something that we found we want to continue to provide that next level of support to our students from that standpoint. So it is so important for all of us to really continue to build in and see it evolve, and just the levels in which we have those. But there's always a science and a rhyme and a reason why we do things, and it's going to continue to evolve, and we have to continue to support it in a lot of variety of different ways so that we can have the output that fans want to see, which is the wins and loss column, which that impacts that wholeheartedly based on how we fuel and take care of our student athletes.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us, everybody. And that's why we need the funding, everybody, because it's much more detailed. I mean, if you'd have had Catapult Sports when you were playing, would that have made a difference?
Absolutely. I know Jerron Ringer would probably have a lot less carries and definitely a load and different things that we are able to study now and what that would have meant for the next phase and facet of his career, and many others who will carry the rock a lot in various aspects. So just how you even shape practice versus, full practice, full hitting, all of those contexts, that stuff matters and how it shapes and goes into the game.
It's such a good point. Can I get a takeaway from you, Ashton? Ashton Henderson's been our guest today, everybody. Moving forward, athletics at MSU. Give me a minute takeaway, and then we'll close this thing.
Yeah, I think, out of those 4 things, I can name 40 that we're really doing a great job here in Michigan State University in our athletics department and our ecosystem. I'm just grateful to be a vessel, to be a Spartan, and to continue to add value in any way that I see fit. That's going to help our student athletes gain a competitive advantage the best way, which is always through integral practices and things that we do. And it's something that I'm excited for the future and what our athletics department is on the brink of, and welcoming some amazing staff and folks, i.e. Jonathan Smith and many others, to East Lansing, Stacy Rippetoe, who's been fantastic too for our rowing program. So we are just delighted and looking forward to what the future holds for MSU athletics.
If our show fits your business or group's mission, everybody, we want to be of service to you through our guests. If you have questions about donating to the university, to the athletic program, hit me up on my website, the contact box. I will make sure that any of these requests get forwarded over. Absolutely 100% guarantee that, because that is how we work. All right? Thank you to Ashton Henderson, Sandy Mack, Craig Stiles, Brock Fletcher, Jamie White, all the students that have worked with us. Of course, our producer, Mitch Anderson. Thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. Remember, Tom Matt Show is a production of Boomers Rock Media. We want to bring your story to life. Thank you again to Ashton Henderson and MSU Athletics for doing what they do. Believe me, we are doing good things. Go green, go white. We're out.
The Tom Matt Show is produced by Mitch Anderson, Black Circle Studios. Original music from the Source of Light and Power by the Arc of All.